In this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast, James Barlowe, my brother James Barlowe, is about to release his first rookie power rankings. So find out who is number one in James's first edition of the rookie power rankings for the 2024 NBA draft class. Big shout out to each and every person that has made the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Rafael Barlowe, along with my brother and my co-host, James Barlowe. And before we get into this episode, I want to let you know that it is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. So visit FanDuel.com to get started. And I want to let you know that your favorite podcast now has a newsletter introducing the Locked On Daily newsletter covering your favorite team. It is the one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. So sign up for free at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com to start your day with the all-new free Locked On newsletter covering your favorite team. So whoever you support, whether it's the Knicks, Lakers, Bulls, Cavs, check it out at the Locked On newsletter. And then, if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, share, comment, click the bell so you can be notified every time we drop an episode. Now, I will let you know that that bell is going to be notifying you a lot because we come at you at least 5 days a week. And in this episode, it is our first rookie power rankings. This is James's list. I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on this rookie class? Has your opinion shifted from this time last year to the draft into right now when guys have about 10 games under their belt? Do you feel like it's a weak class? Do you feel like it's stronger than expected? Just what are your overall thoughts on this class?
So I never really said or thought that it was a weak class. I didn't think there was a clear-cut all-star, star, superstar, Wembanyama, Cooper Flag type, or even a previous draft where we had like Chet or Paolo, who's going to go 1, 2, or in Jabari Smith 1, 2, or 3. But I did say there is talent in this class. And I think you find quality role players. Somebody's going to emerge as an all-star because that's just how the draft works. We just don't know who it is. So I think the class has been good, and you are seeing flashes of it. The guys are getting opportunities every night, it seems like, and some of them are taking really, 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 really good strides. And, you know, rotations could be getting set further down the line. Maybe some guys crack playoff rotations. We'll see. So I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's from I don't want to call anybody a casual, but from the casual fan standpoint, it was hard to get behind some of the guys, especially when, you know, we're here based obviously in the United States. And as a casual fan in the United States, you don't see Zachary Risache play, right? He went number 1. You don't see Sarr play because he was in Australia. And then you had the G League Ignite. Those games weren't on national TV. So, but I think it's a good class. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, just if you think about it, from Sarr, Risache, T-John, that's 3 of the top 6 that weren't on, you know, like ESPN all the time, that weren't under the big bright lights of college basketball. And then you had Modest Buzelis, you had Ron Holland. So that's 5 guys right there. And then you can almost say the 2 guys where Kentucky didn't start, even though they played on national TV a lot. So I get it. All right, let's get right into it. Number 10.
All right, number 10 on my board. I'm going to go with Donovan Clingan of the Portland Trailblazers. Clingan comes in at number 10. We are fresh off of I guess you could say he outplayed Rudy Gobert last night. 17 and 12. I think he had 8 blocks.
Yeah.
Like, Clingan was hooping. And when we saw that Portland drafted him, it was going to be a matter of time as far as like when is he going to play. He had been productive in the minutes that he had been playing. It's just they were 12 minutes here, 10 minutes there. When he got the start, He got to start the night before against Minnesota, but Robert Williams, it was a Robert Williams night. So Clingan comes in at number 10. He can play. I personally feel like if, it's crazy. This is how crazy the NBA is, Ralph. I'm about to tell you that Portland needs to sit down Anthony Simons and sit down DeAndre Ayton and try to move them on for other opportunities to free up minutes for younger guys. DeAndre Ayton is he what, 25? You know what I'm saying? Like, how crazy does that sound?
Simmons
24, 25?
Yeah, he can't be no more than 25. It's weird, man, because they're not old. They're not old by any means. And when you enter the NBA at 19 or 18 years old and you are 5 years in, you still might only be 24. And it's just crazy that you can be 24, 25 years old and you are not in a team's rebuilding plans when you have been productive.
Yeah, Ayton's 26, Simons is 25. I want to say that 4 years ago, we were just saying, man, what are they going to do in Portland? They're going to move Dame and CJ because Simons, they got to find a way to play him. And now he's on the other end of that because I think Shaedon Sharpe needs all of those minutes. Shaedon Sharpe is legit cold. And I think the guy we're talking about right now, Donovan Clingan, needs all of those minutes at the center position. So, yeah, man, basketball, that lifestyle is crazy, man. You could go from being a young guy to, like, being called a basketball terrorist within a year. And nothing could really be your fault.
Yeah, I don't know what Portland's going to do. Clingan is in a situation where he can put up numbers that he put up last night against Minnesota and then be third on the depth chart at the 5 the next game just because they have Ayton. And we've mentioned it before. I can't imagine Robert Williams is in their long-term plans. And so you need to showcase him to move him, but he's so fragile. And he has a
like injury history. He already seen enough. He had 19 and 9, and he had 3 assists the first time they played Minnesota. Sit him down, put him in ice, because again, he can't run him down the court too many times before he start grabbing something, and he's hurt. I'm big fan of Robert Williams. I thought he was a top 10 pick coming out that draft, but maybe been some other stuff. But he can hoop, so shut him down. Like,
all right, number 9. Who's number 9 on your?
All right, number 9. He started off smoking hot. I wouldn't say he's cooled off some, but he's cooled off some a little bit. But him even being on this list, if you would have asked me this time going into the draft, I'd have been like, yeah, right. And that's Ryan Dunn of the Phoenix Suns. Continuing to shoot the ball well. He's starting. I think he's at 7 points, 3 or 4 rebounds. I wish the rebounding numbers were a lot better, but he is asked to guard the best perimeter player on the opposing team every night. Opening night, the first couple games he had to guard LeBron, he had to guard Luka, he had to guard Harden. Like, he's getting that matchup. Kevin Durant is out for, I believe, who knows how long with a calf injury. So Ryan Dunn is going to continue to get opportunities to play. At one point, I thought he was going to be probably the 6th man, but Royce O'Neal has been hooping. So, but Ryan Dunn checks in at number 9 for me, Ralph.
Yeah, he started off hot. He started off
smoking hot.
Real hot. We joked and talked about it a lot. He shot 44% from 3 in October, which is crazy considering he was like a 23% shooter from 3 in college. Now he's kind of like come back down to earth. He's at 30% from 3 in November. And in last night's game, he was 2 of 7, which brought the numbers down. And then before that, he had 3 games where he went 0 for 3, 0 for 3. Then he had a 2 for 2 game, 0 for 3, and then another 2 for 2 game, and then 2 for 7 from 3. But yeah, he's down to 30% from 3 this month. And for the season, he's still at 37% from 3 on 4 attempts per game, which if you would have told me that in July, I would have been like, you are absolutely crazy. What they do, move the lineup? So, right. But no, Ryan Dunn has impressed, but I do think that he is coming back down to earth just a little bit.
Real quick on Ryan Dunn before we take a break. I had mentioned before, what is he? Because in October, he's making threes, and you see him like dancing, and he's shushing the crowd, and he's doing all that stuff that he couldn't even do at Virginia because he wasn't making shots for one. And I feel like, they took all the joy out the game, and that's another story. But now that he, I guess you could say, has hit a slump a little bit, if he looks at his stats, I want to see how he bounces back from this poor shooting that he will shoot. Is it poor shooting? He's shooting 30% from three. That's great for him, considering where he was at Virginia. So maybe it doesn't translate to him. I don't know. But I want to see what it looks like at the end of the month. Is he still going to remain a confident shooter? Because, October, you catch people off guard. November, the season is going. Can you keep up that same hot shooting?
Yeah, because in October, 44% from three on 5 attempts per game. In November, 30% from three on 3.3 attempts per game. All right, when we return, we'll cover the next prospect, who is number 7 on James's board. But before we get into the second segment, let's talk about a new sponsor, which is Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you do not need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows you to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25 APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of the high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhoodgold.com. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates may change, and gold memberships are offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. All right, second segment. We talked about number 10 and 9. Who is number 8 on your list?
All right, number 8 on my list, I'm going in with Yves Missi, playing for the New Orleans Pelicans. Yves Missi, good production, 7.6 rebounds, 1.6 assists per game, and also giving you a cool 1.3 blocks. I want to say the highlight of his career has been he had a 17-11 performance against the Brooklyn Nets. He showed flashes. He hit Cam Johnson with a rocker step like prime Vince Carter. Had a Euro step, dunk by, I guess you could say, on Ben Simmons. When he has spacing, aka when there's no Zion there, he is productive. When Zion's there, the lane is all clogged up because we know Zion is a big dude trying to get into a little spot, and he's hell-bent on going left and getting there. But Yves Missi, last 2 games, again, I mentioned the Nets game, 17-11 against OKC. The game got ugly, but he finished with 10, and 2 assists. So I feel like as long as he has spacing there, he's going to have opportunity. I mean, the Pelicans got like 7 people, feels like, on their roster. They are, might be having active tryouts because everybody's getting hurt. So shout out to Yves Missi. He's playing well. I didn't really question his talent. I questioned the fit because of Zion, but since there's no Zion there, he's hooping.
Yeah, I've always felt like Zion is an interesting fit. I think you need to pair Zion with like a rim protecting floor spacer that has the size, but those guys are difficult to find. But then Zion is hurt so much that you can't really base your roster on him being healthy. So I think he's kind of tricky. The Pelicans are 3-9. I did a mock sim last week, and they had 2 of the first 4 picks because they had their own pick, and then they had the Hawks pick. But Missi was 5 of 5 from the floor last night against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
All right, number 7, I'm going with the number 1 pick, is Zachary Risachet. Yes, 7th. You can look at that any which way you want. Is that a disappointment? I don't necessarily call it a disappointment because you can't help where you're drafted, and he has had extremely high highs. He had that 33-point game against the Knicks, 27 in the first half. He's just not shooting the ball well. I have him shooting 37% from the field and 25% from three. 11 points, almost 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. 4 rebounds, 1.3 assists, a steal, and almost a block. Again, it's up and down production. He's getting every opportunity to play. I want to say he leads all rookies in minutes at almost 27 minutes per game, unless it was got to be one of the Wiz kids. He's challenging for minutes, but Reese Shay's been good, and him being at 7 isn't like a knock on him. It's just that I feel like other rookies have played better.
You said you can't help where you're drafted. I think he was drafted in an excellent situation. He just has to knock down shots.
Yes, and I'm not saying you can't help where you're drafted. I'm saying that because he went number 1, and I say that to say I don't think he should have gone number 1, or I don't think he's going to be the best player for this draft. But as a rookie wing with his skill set, you couldn't have asked for a better place to be drafted.
Yes, he's actually 3rd in minutes for rookies with Bub Carrington, number 1, and Kyshawn George, number 2. But he's playing 26.8 minutes per game, and he is 2nd in scoring among rookies at 11.7 points. All right, number 6. Who's number 6 on your list?
Number 6, I'm going to go with my dog down in San Antonio, Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle's improving. He's still not a shooter, but as a starter, Raf, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 44% shooting, 30% shooting from 3, 82% from the foul line. A jump shot is still a work in progress. They are, I want to say, 3-2 in his starts. So he's getting better. It'll be interesting to see what it looks like when Sohan returns, and also when that minutes restriction is lifted off of Devin Vassell. But Stephon Castle he's given the opportunity to play minutes, and every time you play him minutes and start him, he's played well. So cutting, defense has been good, playmaking has been good. Finishing at the rim somehow needs to get better, but he shows like flashes. He's had some plays where you're like, okay, kid is really, really skilled. So I have him at number 6.
All right, here's a question for you.
All right.
So when you look at rookie categories, points, rebounds, assists, block, steals, and minutes played, Castle is only top 5 in one category, which is assist. So how can you explain putting him at number 6 on your list when he is not top 5 in 5 of the 6 categories?
What about minutes played? Where is he at?
He's not in the top 5.
So if he's not top 5
in minutes played at 25 a game.
So he's not in top 5 in minutes played, but he's number what in assists?
3.
Number 3. So basically, he's being productive in the minutes. He's being productive, in the minutes that he is given. And when you put him in the starting lineup, the production stays the same, and they're winning. And again, if you want to rope in everything as far as like the numbers and look at like, okay, so let's say for example, Reese Shea. Reese Shea has been more of a negative player than Castle has.
As far as what? Box plus minus?
Box plus minus, yes.
And why do you think that is?
You're not playing with Victor Wembanyama.
Okay. I mean, but, Reese Shea has played with Trae Young, who has only missed 1 game. Now, I know Victor and Trae defensively.
Yeah, it's 2 different things.
Totally different. But that was just a question I have for you.
But again, if you put their head-to-head stats up, though, and this 6 and 7 came down to these 2 guys, right? I don't feel like Castle should have jumped higher than 6. I don't think Reese Shea is any higher than 6th either. But if you compare the 2, Reese Shea averages more points. That's it.
And with Castle as a starter, he's averaging 12 points, 4 assists, 2.4 rebounds, 44% from the floor, 30% from 3.
That's what I'm saying. And he's shooting a higher percentage from 3 than Reese Shea. So
yeah, when you look at Castle's numbers, the 30% from 3 on 4.6 attempts per game, I'm not saying by any means are those great numbers, but he is getting 4.5 or 4.6 attempts per game. I will say this much. On one hand, him shooting them is encouraging. On the other hand, he's wide open. I do think that even though he's shooting, I guess, a better percentage from 3 than Reese Shea, the way they're being defended is totally different. Reese Shea is getting some good looks, but Castle is like, you'll see the defender like he got the ball right. Let me turn around. let
or
me box out.
they'll flat out put a center on like Utah did. But I mean, if we're just gonna base it off percentages, you got to go at Castle.
All right, when we return, we'll get into James's top 5 rookies. Trying to figure out who is number 1 because depending on who you ask, there's multiple guys that could be number 1. But before we get into that, let's talk about the number 1 sports book, which is FanDuel. Right now, you can get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's number 1 sports book, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, and it is all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet, and that is FanDuel.com. All right, top 5. Here we go. Number 5.
Coming in at number 5. This one right here, I really wanted to boost him a little higher, but I got to hold something against him that he has no control over. And at number 5, I'm going with my guy, Kyshawn George. He is hooping. I was high on Kyshawn George pre-draft, and, he's making me look like a smart guy right now. I mean, I was already smart. My kindergarten teacher told me that a long time ago. Kyshawn George on the season, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists per game. Over his last 5 games, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists a game. And he's playing with, you get Kyle Kuzma out the paint, there's more opportunity. Kyshawn George is playing extremely well. He's come in, he's taking work off of Corey Kispert block. Like, I get it. I know that they're like in full-on rebuild mode. Excuse me.
Build.
Yeah, I was on some Mike Tyson right there. They're in full rebuild mode, and they're starting 3 rookies at times. But, like, Kyshawn has played well. He had the game against he started off slow, too, on top of all that. And I think he got loose against the Warriors when he shot 6 of 17 from the three-point line. So if you look at his last 5, I want to say, Ralph, that he is shooting extremely well from 3. But, yeah, you look at his last 5 games, including that game where he got all those threes up, he is shooting 40% from 3 on almost 9 attempts per game. And he can put the rock on the ground. And he's showing flashes of being more comfortable with it every game. Again, we get Kyle Kuzma out of D.C. as soon as possible. Kyshawn George, he's going to finish. He should finish first team all rookie, and he should be top 3 when it's all. He could be top 3 when it's all said and done in rookie of the year votes.
What's interesting is, I think if you ask 3 people, they may give you 2 or 3 different answers on who has been the Wizards' best rookie. And they have 3 rookies that are playing a lot of minutes. So we're at number 5.
Yes.
So when I'm looking at the numbers here, there's somebody from the Washington Wizards that is not going to make your top 10 rookies.
Hurt my soul doing it, but I got to keep it real. So let's get right into it. Number 4, we're going to go Bub Carrington. High-level pick-and-roll basketball player already, and I believe he's only 19 years old. Bub is playing well, like I said, pick-and-roll, mid-range jumper's good, basketball IQ is good. He's finding his way to the basket. He's selective, and that's what's good about him. I know that people were talking about the rim pressure and, him not getting to the basket, or did he have enough top-end athleticism to be a high-level point guard or whatever. And I think he is good enough of an athlete. And again, being a 2-level scorer and then being selective at the rim is what's going to get him paid when it's time to get paid. And it's going to help him as far as his efficiency goes. But Bub, 10 points, 4.5 rebounds, 5 assists per game. He's shooting 43% from the field. Absolutely will take that. 36% from 3. Absolutely will take that. He's playing well.
Yeah, he is. He is leading all rookies in assists. He's fifth in scoring, first in assists. He's fifth in rebounds, and he is first in steals and first in minutes. So he's top five in pretty much every category for rookies except blocks. So that means Alex Sarr did not make your top 10. Sarr is first in blocks, third in rebounds, fifth in minutes played for rookies, but he did not crack your top 10. So I think if someone is going to pick at you and debate this, they're going to say, how does Sarr make it over Stephon? Or how does Stephon Castle make it over Alex Sarr? Statistically.
Easy. 34% shooting.
Yes, that's pretty bad for a guy that's
17% from three. And again, I'm a Sarr fan. I would have taken Sarr number one. But I just can't get down with my 7-foot athlete shooting 34% from the field. That's just inexcusable, man. Like, I can't get down with that. So I had him at 10, but I'm like, you know what, man, I can't reward one side of the ball. Again, the blocks are great, I think, and he showed flashes. I think he's at like 50% from two, but the three ball is weighing him down, and yeah, that's killing him right now. So until he figures out his identity again, we're taking 5 threes a game. I'm not really a big fan of 5 threes a game. Again, I know that. That's what you want him. That's something that you want him to do long term, but I can't reward 34-17 splits, man.
Yeah. He's made some wild plays though. There are some plays from him where I'm like, once he puts it all together, he's gonna be special. When you see your 7-footer grab the rebound, push the ball up court, throw a lob, or just the ability to grab the rebound and push it up court, the skills are there. Some of the concerns that he had coming into the season were, is he tough enough? How tough is he? So on. And I'm not saying he's not tough, but I will say he does shy away from contact, and that is leading to him settling for a lot of threes. Would love to see him get to the rim. Would love to see him just show his face-up game, because I think that he has
That's where the money is, Raf, for him. When I've seen him face up, when I've seen him put the ball in the ground to take the other bigs off the dribble, he's had success. I think he dunked on Victor last night. Like, we need to see more of that. Not all these threes. And here's the thing. I guess you could say this is like punishment, not putting him in the top 10, because, you know, if you just took away the trash field goal shooting, like 9.6 rebounds, 2.2 assists as a center, 2.3 blocks, like, you'd be like, oh, shoot. But the field goal percentage is just awful. It's weighing him down. So that's why I have him outside my top 10. And also, real quick, if you play Eve, Mixie, those same minutes, 26 minutes a game, if you play Klingon those same 26 minutes a game, imagine their production.
Very valid. All right. Where are we at? 3?
Yes. Number 3, Jaylen Wells. Number 3, I said he should be starting. Marcus Smart came back. Jaylen Wells still started. Jaylen Wells is playing well. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists as a starter, 40% from 3. There's nothing really to argue there. I almost put Kyshawn George ahead of him, but I unfortunately have to hold it against that. Kyshawn George plays on a rebuilding team, and they're not winning, and Jaylen Wells is playing for a team that is winning games, and he basically came out of nowhere and starts, and he should start all season.
Yeah, so far he's looking like the steal of the draft. I've definitely seen some fans questioning their front office for passing up Jaylen Wells. I've seen like Jazz fan question, like, why was Cody Williams so far ahead of Jaylen Wells? It was another fan base that I saw on Twitter that were just going off on their front office for passing up Jaylen Wells. All right, number 2.
Number 2, teammate of Jaylen Wells, Zach Edey. In and out the starting lineup, but guess what, man? Just get a pen, write him down for 11 points, 7 rebounds every night. Whether he starts, whether he comes off the bench, he's going to get you 11 and 7. And he's doing it with his post game is coming along, but he hasn't even like dominated in the post. He's the ultimate play finisher. He gets fouled. I wish he blocked more shots. He's averaging less than a block a game, which is kind of crazy. But he's played well. He's super productive. He's always going to be productive in the minutes. But I feel like the Lakers picked on him last night.
I think it was like under like 6 minutes. When the game was kind of getting close, and it's like JJ like was saving some stuff. All right, I'm gonna get Zach off the floor, and
it was that is going to be an issue because unlike Sarr, unlike Misi, unlike Klingon, like those guys, April they're gonna look great. Memphis is gonna be playing for a playoff spot in April. So, and depending on the matchup, like you see with another team with playoff aspirations in the Lakers, they're gonna pick on him. And you don't run up against LeBron and them every night, but have we seen the Grizzlies and the Mavs play this year?
In the preseason.
So he hasn't seen Luka. That's gonna be a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there probably will be a cap on his minutes just because teams are gonna pick on him, and he is not gonna have the luxury of getting to play through teams picking on him because he plays on a good team.
All right, number 1. Who is the number 1 rookie on your power rankings? The first edition of your rookie
number
power
1 of my first edition of power rankings. He's been deniable. Jared McCain, 26 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists over his last 4 games on 45, 42, 100% from the foul line splits. The game has slowed down for Jared McCain, and I know people were saying I was hating on him in the comments because I said his layup package is ugly, and it is ugly. But it doesn't matter because he's selective with his layups. First of all, Jared McCain, I don't know his measurements off the top of my head, but he is a wide-bodied, average athlete that knows how to use his body to create space and get to his spots. Like he hit a step back over Jared Allen last night. He shot a step back over Evan Mobley last night. He was wide and he's crafty, which means if he gets you on his hip, you're done. And that's why he's starting to be selective with his layups because he doesn't have like top end speed and he's definitely a below the rim finisher. But he's figuring out that I only need to shoot like 1 or 2 of those a game because if I don't miss threes, and then if I'm crafty enough to get to my mid-range and I'm crafty enough to draw fouls, I'm going to find success. So shout out to Jared McCain. He plays his best basketball when he plays off of 2 feet. And when you're not athletic, when you're not super fast, you have to play off of 2 feet. Game is just slow for him. And again, to rope this all in, he has the highest positive box plus minus by far as like guys that are playing now. There's dudes like Tyler Kolek that's super high, but he's not playing minutes.
What's crazy about the McCain situation is the first 2 games of the season, Nick Nurse just wasn't feeling him. He only played 4 minutes the first game, 4 minutes the second game. Then the minutes started to go up. He played 17 the third, 22 the fourth game. Then I want to say like his 6th game, he only played 3 minutes, then 12 minutes, and then injuries played a big role in it with Maxey being out, Paul George being out the lineup for the last 4 or 5 games. He's played over 30 minutes. There was a game against Charlotte where he had 27, where they were running the offense through him. He had 23 against who they played? The Knicks.
Yeah.
He had 23 against the Knicks, and then he had a crazy 34-point game yesterday against the Cavs, and his numbers are 13 points per game, 45% from the floor, 38% from 3. And if we would have did this a week ago, he may not have been in the top 5. He was trending in that direction. But now, I mean, he looks like he is going to be a big factor for the Sixers. There's, like we talked about, Jaylen Wells. How are they going to keep Jaylen Wells out the lineup when Vince Williams comes back and Marcus Smart and Gigi and so on? I think Wells has cemented his role in the Grizzlies rotation, but I do think they could kind of slide him out there a little bit maybe. But Jared McCain, I think it's going to be impossible to keep him out of their rotation. Obviously, the numbers are going to scale back some once guys get healthy, but McCain has been impressive over the last week.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see if Nick Nurse has the onions to play him over Kyle Lowry. Like, I'm not talking about
hometown.
I'm not in his hometown after he won a championship with Kyle Lowry in Toronto. The will he have the onions to play McCain late in the season, talking about playoffs over Kyle Lowry? That's what I want to see.
I think he'll start him, but he'll close with McCain. He's going to start Lowry, close with McCain. And to me, closing is more important.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that wraps up this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast. Once again, thank you for making this your first listen of the day, or it could be your second listen, third, fourth. Thank you for supporting us. And before we go, I want to let you know about the Locked On newsletter covering your favorite team. Check it out at lockedondaily.com, because your favorite Locked On podcast has a newsletter, and you can get the information delivered right to your inbox for free at lockedondaily.com. Once again, this is Rafael and my brother James. Rookie Power Rankings Volume 1, or the first edition, and we are out of here.